And suddenly it's Monday again. Well, it's the end of week 1, I finished it. I just finished editing the video, I can point. Yay! So this week's mostly going to be about actually doing prototyping. We did a bit of prototyping last week. We did the menu and the first game. The first game isn't quite working yet. We have some problems and I need to figure out what I'm going to do with that actually, because I'm not too sure about the paddles. I might use paddles, I might use pinball paddles, I don't know. Lots of paddles. But essentially this week's going to be mostly on make sure everything's done. The menu's pretty much working. I need to make sure the menu doesn't disclose levels now. That seems to work fine, no problem there. I don't know what caused the problem in the last one. It might have been the amount of affordance to the background causing that lag. But I haven't seen any lag with the cabinet itself. I went shopping on Sunday and bought a few things for the cabinet. So we now have a external cord which is 5 meters long, so it can easily reach into plugs in this room, and also if as I'm going to uni, I can probably plug in quite easily. I've also got some washi tape, so let's say masking tape for when I paint this thing, because this does need painting. Because grey is boring. That will be a thing I'll do next week or week after. I plan to have that before end of March, so you should know when it's going to come out vaguely. But other than that, today's mostly paperwork days, and what is this, Monday's paperwork is always fun. I had the goal of finishing the video by 12, and it is actually 11:29, so not bad. I need to actually render it, but you'll have seen it by now already, of course. It's not the best edit I've done, but I'm happy with it. It's good enough, because at the end of the day, I am doing a lot of stuff on the side. And this is actually something that's supposed to do on the side, but I mean, everything's it, yeah, but vlogging as well? Nah, not so much. So just an extra bit of work I'm adding to myself, really, so I think got myself to blame for this. But other than that, it's not too bad. I'm actually wearing the same shirt as I was last Monday. I need to wash this. Other than that, yeah, not too much going on. So I think there's some doing. So I think. Yeah, that's about it. Dear. But other than that, dark, you can see me, but other than that, I need some chores, need the washing up, it's a mess again, as always. A cup of tea, and then I think I need to finish rendering this video, then I need to do the project plan, which I haven't done yet, and I really should do. So I need to do that today. That's going to be a boring, long Gantt chart, not fun. This has been pretty much done for the time being. I need to get it checked by my supervisor on Thursday. Other than that, not too much. I've got a few things coming in this week though. I do have a blood donation on Wednesday, so nothing will happen Wednesday that much. I might vlog a little bit of it, but I can't talk too much because it's a hospital after all. Be sensible. But other than that, that's about it for now. I will catch you probably Tuesday, if I don't already.
So right after finishing the video, I went ahead and wrote the blog post for that week. This takes a bit of time because I have to first of all write it, then actually convert it into HTML code, essentially. But HTML code converting isn't that difficult, it's more just make it look right, make the website page and then publishing it. I also did the promo work for it at the same time, most means just making some kind of image to promote on Facebook and Twitter and some on Instagram. Some I actually forgot to do on Instagram, one in particular, and realised afterwards and went, bugger, should have done a new one, but couldn't fill up to it at the time. So most of Monday was focused on making a Gantt chart. This was probably the most important document I had currently, even though it was also the most time consuming and not the most fun to make. It did help quite a bit though with setting some milestones, figuring out how long it would take, whether or not I'd have time for post-production, how long each game would take to make, or how long it should take to make according to my theory. But this theory does kind of assume I worked on this project every single day, which I don't do by default. I deliberately give Wednesdays and Fridays off for my other unit, so I have time for that. But as you can imagine, this is kind of assuming I work every day, but it isn't expecting I work any longer than 9 to 5, so it does mean overtime is possible. Essentially this took me ages. I'm only showing you one clip of about 8 that I have on here. It went pretty much all the way up from like 10 to about 4 in the afternoon. It was a long process, but I'm glad I got it done because now it means I actually have some kind of idea of what's going to happen. So then I went on Tuesday and started working on the actual pinball game. I wanted to get the movement finalised as I had troubles with it previously. Beforehand I had using like pong flippers, not pong flippers, or like pong paddles going side to side, and having the ball be quite bouncy and having some maths to reflect the ball off of surfaces. This proved to be quite a bad idea, let's put it that way. It didn't quite work where I wanted it to. After spending most of the day researching different methods how to do this, I essentially stumbled upon using hinge joints, which are physics joints. I actually totally forgotten they existed. I mentioned this in this clip actually in a bit more detail. But essentially I spent some time making it. Once I had it all sorted out, I made a little bit of artwork, as you can see here, which is a placeholder. And that's most of what I did on the pinball game for this day, at least, for this week.
And suddenly it's Thursday evening, or afternoon, Yeah, I pretty much got the recording thing after yesterday's little introduction. Been busy, it's been hard. I've already got the board game working, I can point this time, yay. That's now got the paddle working with the controls, as well as the ball moving around. It's taken a while, because there's been lots of different attempts. I did try to do it with just basic maths, shooting objects, doesn't work. Tried a 3D version with gravity, it worked, but the problem is the gravity is flipping for the two-player Mass Spectres game, and that's only doing it with 2D, so I had to make it work in 2D. Messed around a bit more, found some guys have done hinge joints, which I actually forgot existed, haven't used them in ages, and they've pretty much proven to be the answer to this question entirely. I've used a 2D hinge joint. I was originally using a 3D one, the 3D version, which worked perfectly, but the problem is the 3D one was 3D. So for 2D, I've just used a hinge joint again, but just did a different thing. Found some guys' tutorial online, which is very handy, who conveniently had done flippers already and all that stuff. I don't really need to know flippers really, that's I can figure out myself. So flippers have been fixed now pretty much. It's just using a motor and force and limiting stuff. What fun physics is. But that's most of today's progress actually. Tomorrow I'm giving blood, so I won't be doing anything pretty much, apart from my lesson in the morning. I'm getting a bus to the blood donation, giving blood, going back, and then chilling the rest of the day, because I can't do anything when I give blood for 24 hours pretty much. Thursday is just a normal day. I'm going to work a bit more on this obviously. Just casually, gently, not going too hard because the blood donation still will make me a bit weak. I shall drink plenty that day. And then Friday, I have supervisor meeting, yay! Have that at 1:30 actually. It's been put on Friday rather than Thursday, which I did suggest, but I mean, it was only because my lesson was originally 2 to 4, but it's now 3 till 5, so that's fine. But other than that, that's all I've got to report for now. I will get back to you next time I have any progress, or you'll see more progress on screen. See you until then.
So after that I was trying to get the controllers we need again, which is a annoying little thing I was trying to get so you could determine which controller was which when you plug them in. Turns out on Windows you can't exactly do this because the hardware IDs for the controllers are both the same. Seems to be something that might be fixable in Linux, but I haven't actually got that far yet. I'm going to spend a bit of time afterwards, so I didn't actually get any footage of it, but I did spend some time researching the Linux builds, what was best, like what the Linux system was best for this project, and with how I'm going to do the custom routing. That's a bit more in definition than anything else, which would be in the more written report side of things. But that's it for this little clip. I catch you again on Friday, when I discuss how I'm a little ill.
And suddenly it's Friday and I haven't recorded in 2 days. It's been busy. I mean, I haven't done anything on the FMP too much the last few days, particularly because I've been doing design, so I need to get a bit of work on that for the prototype for today. I got my FMP meeting in about an hour and a bit, I think. Then I got a lesson an hour later. I'm planning to stay at uni because it's easier. I'm slightly ill on the Wednesday. I've got a bit of sniffles. Isn't fun. I don't feel like doing much, which makes it hard to do this FMP. Hopefully this weekend I can get some work done on it though. I'm hoping today was the last day of being really not feeling up too much. It's just a sniffle, it's annoying as hell. But yeah, tomorrow's the plan, it's just hopefully get some stuff this weekend. If I can't do it this weekend, I'm doing a game day next week, so it's supposed to be. If I'm not well by Monday, I won't do it because I'd rather not pass this cold on to anyone else to avoid it. That's the toast done. But other than that, it's just hoping to get some work done soon. I have done a bit more on the board game though. You've seen stuff from Tuesday and Wednesday already, probably before this clip. I'm just hoping to get more done for the weekend to actually have more progress, hoping to scoring at least in leaderboards, which is mostly just code, so it should be easy enough to do while not feeling quite right. But yeah, that's all for now. I will catch you in the next clip, hopefully. A supervisor meeting. I'm now in 305 with literally nobody else in here, it's nice. Pretty much hi Phil, you're now watching these by the way. So that's just pretty much summed up what I need to do. The proposal's been accepted, I've got the concept done. I need to do definition by next Wednesday. I need to do a bit more marketing, which I'm going to push for hopefully next week. And get more done, obviously. I need to get a vertical slice for both games done. I want to get the pinball game finished by the progress report, obviously, but I want to get the second game, the shoot 'em up, have at least something done by that deadline, so there's something to show, as recommended. Hopefully we should be cold soon. But other than that, the rest of today's going to be on more or less on what's it called? Sewing. It's got a lesson in an hour while I'm in here. Then I might do some FMP stuff this evening if I feel up to it. Might get the leaderboards started. This weekend's plan is going to be leaderboards and scores, as I mentioned earlier in the previous clip, and hopefully I can get that done in 3 days and have it work for both games. That's the idea at least. Then we'll do some control fixing, so I need the help of class to have up, down, left, right diagonals. I didn't do diagonals, I did up, down, left, right only. And I also need to figure out what I'm going to do for the cabinet paint job, which I haven't figured out yet. But until that's all for now, I'll catch you in the next clip. Probably will be Saturday.
So sadly, after Friday, I didn't get any better. I actually got worse. Saturday was quite tough. I managed to get myself out still, but it was a challenge, let's put it that way. So I worked on the leaderboards on Saturday. I didn't get much done. I essentially got it started. I did a bit of research into how I'm going to do this. I was hoping to do it on my server, and I managed to do it that way I wanted. Essentially how it works is there's a database on my web server, which has a table for the pinball game. On that table there are 4 essentially columns. There's one for the ID, which goes up by 1 each time that something entered into the table. There's a name, which I need to actually make it so it isn't checking this, but it currently checks if the name is the same. If it's the same as the name already on the table, it ignores it currently. I'm changing that so it actually doesn't ignore, because obviously you could have the same person with 2 names. Also because the same person can play the game twice and get 2 scores and use the same name. So I need to change that. It's a minor thing, well, like 1 on the code. Then after that, there's obviously a value for the score, which is an integer, and then the last value added, which is something for the cabinet in particular, is the platform. On the arcade builds, there'll be a specific number put into that, and so that when you go on the leaderboards, there'll be an icon for that, which will correspond to that number. And obviously, we have other platforms, there'll be other numbers for those ones. So it works in Unity by essentially calling a script on my web server. It's a PHP script which I made using some tutorials plus a little bit of editing myself. Essentially sends through the data with a www request. I need to try and make it work with Unity web requests, but currently it's a bit underdocumented. You need to look into a bit more in that aspect. Essentially, as soon as you send in valid data from the game, it will work. It will send it to the web server and it will go up on the database. I haven't got any kind of display online as of yet, but that's something for next week to try and push through if I can. I don't know yet though, because I'm doing a game jam, so we will see. So that's it for week 2 of the FMP. Sadly on Sunday I was really not feeling that great. You can see in the background here, this is me recording the outdoor clip that I actually now narrating it over because I don't feel like listening to myself. In that respect, I wasn't that well, I wasn't that awake. I was like just saying, oh, I'm ill, I haven't done much the last few days, sorry. Which sums up what I did this much. I've just been ill and not really up to much. Kind of a shame. I wanted to get a lot more done this week, but obviously I just couldn't because I physically wasn't well enough. It happens. But this week, hopefully, I'm going to get a bit more done on the project. I can't do too much because I'm doing a game jam, plus my parents are visiting on Saturday, so I haven't got that much time to work on it. But I will try and push for Sunday to get a lot more done on it this coming up Sunday, along with the evenings during the week, if I can. But from week 4 onwards, we should be fully on back onto it. I don't see us not being full on, like, working solidly on this project, like, day in, day out. Because we need to catch up a little bit. We are a bit behind on schedule currently, it's not good. So yeah, that's all for this week. I will catch you next week. Goodbye.